every now and again, got some folks that help us to try to keep us, tries to keep us together. I guess they would be our semi-producers or something to that effect.
Hello, Dr. Enchanted,
And
truly
hey,
Davida,
Kika,
yes,
and they always send us these eyeballs and different things in the middle of just out the blue, like, hey, what's going on? It's ish.
And it is. We are Pastor Greg and Michelle, and we are here Tuesday through Thursday between 9:30 and 10ish Central Standard Time. Thank you for joining us. We are GD and me, Marriage Makes Three. .com. Thank you all for joining us. My goodness, we are live. We are on Facebook Live. We're here on IG. We are
everywhere you want to be,
wherever you are.
That's right.
So turn us on, and share.
Oh my goodness! Oh my! Hey, Brittany, how are you, darling? It's been a while since we've seen you. Hey, Booski, there's our daughter. Love you, sweetheart. Thank you so much, Kimmy Dog. Thank you so much. I love y'all very so. And so does my husband, Bear. Come through here, Bear.
All right.
I'm here for the Bear. Absolutely. So, guys, come on in the room, invite someone, share the broadcast, and let's move in tonight. It is Veterans Day, right? And Veterans Day is November the 11th every year. And every year I forget.
Veterans Day is different from Memorial Day. Memorial Day celebrates or memorializes those who have died in federal or military service, right? Or died after, military service. Amen. But they served and died. So Veterans Day
is for us that are amongst the living.
Yeah.
Dr.
Right.
Enchanted,
so thank you for remembering.
They be trying to kill us off every year on Memorial Day. Did you realize that? Okay. And we appreciate it. We love it. It's just, let's just do it. When you know better, when you learn better, and what they say here in the South, you do better. So thank you all so very much for being a part of who we are. Again, I'm Pastor Michelle. This is my sweet husband, Pastor G. We're spiritual relationship counselors. We are veterans of the United States Air Force. Hey. And we're your go-to couple for all things relationship. We're going to ask that you come on in tonight, that you would share the broadcast and invite somebody. We want to talk tonight. And I know we started last night. We were supposed to be talking about 6 challenges of relationship and marriage, right? But what we want to do, because, again, like I said, forgot that it was Memorial Day. Don't know why I had so many people scheduled for today. I worked my butt off. And I'm like, wait a minute, it's our day. So anyhow, we live and survive. Yes, thank you, Dr. Enchanted. Are you a veteran too? God bless you for your service. If you are,
yes, we live
and survive. Yes. One of us. So let me see. Tonight we want to talk about, for some of you, you may be married to someone in the military, and it's different from being married to a civilian. Okay. Being married to someone that's in the military brings with it its own challenges, its own peculiarities, its own stresses, its own tensions. And so we wanted to talk about this just a little while from our perspective. We're both veterans. And so we were married to each. One was married to a civilian, other one was married to military. And so it makes a difference. And it definitely showed us some things that could have been done in a nicer way, a different way, a better way, right? So, thank you. Hey, cousin Irene, love you too, ma'am. Thank you, Carl. Mavis says, thank you for your service. Vanessa says, happy Veterans Day. Lord bless you so much. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. Shout out to you too. Thank you, Deirdre. Appreciate that. Amber Dawn says, even though the president honored the tomb of the unknown soldiers. I'm through. I'm too through. I did not see that, but thank you for sharing. That is hilarious. So we are here tonight, and we just want to come in, give you guys some insight into what it is that we are or have dealt with. Now, let me see a number 5 in the chat. Any of you that have a military member in your family, you're married to a military person, or you were brought up by someone in the military. You're what they call a military brat.
Come on, stick a finger
Up
up
in
there.
the air.
I say I do. Put up a American flag. Put up the symbols of your service. Whatever you do, put something up. Let us know that you are. You either are or you're a family member.
Yes, someone that was in or is currently serving in the United States military. I see some number 5. Thank you. Hey, Sister Shirley. Thank you for joining us tonight. We appreciate you. God bless you, Narissa. So are you in the military or veteran or are you, let's see, married to a military person? Let us know.
Hand is up. Thank you, Dr.
That's all right.
For your service.
Amen. I wasn't, but I have uncles and grandfathers that serve. Okay. Awesome. I am serving. Army, come through here. Love you. God bless you. Our son, matter of fact, is in the National Guard, and he is actually kind of active, right now. So, being married to someone that's in the military has been a totally different combination of highs and lows and uncertainties. Wow. And Navy veteran. God bless you, Dr. Enchanta. Highs, lows, and everything goes. Pat, is that our friend, Dr. Sean Strong? Is that you, sir? Is that you?
Our friend.
Okay, bless you. My grandfather, uncle's brother, and of course, my fine husband, she says. Come through here with the deposits. I love it. Please hug Roman for me. Yes, ma'am, we will do so. So we wanted just to go through some of the things that we believe that if you are in the military, you're married to a military person, that are some considerations. Because when we're talking about relationships, when you're talking about marriages, there are so many things that we have to overcome. And we already know that for the most part, every single person, you're going to deal with communication, you're going to deal with something with your finances, and there's also those sexual issues, right? Yeah. And so we have to cover the gamut. But I found out, and I looked it up today because I was very curious about the divorce rate. Now, in the military, the divorce rate for enlisted troops are 3.5% compared to those that are officer. Isn't that something? And so you already see that people think about money don't make you happy, but money certainly helps. How about that? Right? Hey, Danielle, love you, sweetheart. Thank you for joining us.
5% of enlisted.
Yes. Divorce.
Wow.
As opposed to 1.7% when we're talking about those that are officers. All right. So, and the Air Force and the Marines have the highest divorce rate. Y'all, I hate it. I'm an Air Force baby, but it is the truth. And so when we moved to Japan, it's because a lot of them marry young and come on, Narissa. Yeah. When we were in Japan, I remember we weren't married to each other when we were in Japan, but he was there already. I got there, and I remember them briefing us. And they told us things that one of two things is going to happen when you leave here. And I was like, what's going to happen? You're either going to leave here divorced or you're going to leave here pregnant. And I was like, wait a minute. How could someone predict something like that? But apparently there was something in the water over there. The temperature was just correct so that you either got pregnant or you ended up leaving and you were divorced. And, we saw so much of it.
And we saw those who had both. True. But oddly, though, at 3.5% of those who enlisted, that's still a whole lot different than 50% or 48%.
3.5% of.
Now we still make up.
Right.
Because it's across the board. 48% of those who first marriages.
Yes.
That includes your military.
Exactly.
People.
Yes. She said it's a sorry fraud that don't praise its own pond. Come on now. Narissa, are you laughing because you've heard something like this before or just because it's hilarious in a way? But see, the thing is though it was funny, and I was like, back, y'all, let me just go on and be frank. Okay. When I got to Japan, I had been in Panama for 1 year. Okay. She said it's the truth. Yeah. So she's laughing. I have been in Panama for 1 year. Okay. I left Panama and I was supposed to go to Turkey, but they diverted my orders to take me to Japan. Okay. Because at the time, my husband, he had orders, but his orders were his orders were to the Philippines.
Wow.
It was horrible. And so, right. And so we were trying our very best. Okay. So that's one of those issues that you that are civilian and never been married to military, that you don't even, that doesn't even really cross your mind the same way.
The service that you're part of and swore to defend is trying to kill your marriage.
And they would tell you things like, and Narissa, Dr. Enchanter, you can tell us if you have heard this before. They will say things to you like, if the military didn't issue you a husband or a wife, we ain't worried about it. Okay. And we knew that they didn't issue them. So, right. And so pretty much what they were saying was that when we swore allegiance to protect and serve, that went above the marriage relationship. And I believe that is a part of the issue that a lot of people end up having, is realizing that you're going to have to work double time if you're in the military and or if you're married to someone that is in the military, period. Okay. So one of the things that we say, let me see those ones there in the chat as we're going through these. And we know there's a whole slew of issues that we can cover. Okay. And everything is not, we can't cover everything in 30-45 minutes.
Yeah. And for those of you who are not married, it might be that you will end up marrying someone.
Yeah. That is military.
Or you may decide that you want to be one of the few and the proud and the brave and fly high and do all that stuff, right? You may decide you want to do that. And so this becomes important from that standpoint. But the main thing we want you to understand is that how a service person has to conduct themselves, know a little bit of their challenges as a military member. It's sacrifice. It's meant to be a sacrificial, and you sacrifice your life. You don't have the same freedoms. And a lot of people really get a little bit persnickety that a military might get a discount in a certain place. I want everything, don't you? Well, and without ever considering that they gave up an opportunity to be educated here in a college education. They went and joined the military.
Right. And got put wherever you told them to put. And we y'all, oh Lord have mercy. We have this thing. All right, first thing, and this is some of the challenges that make things harder. When you go into the military, hey Juice, and you say I do, then you have to fill out some forms, right? One of the forms that you fill out is what they call a dream sheet. And they call it a dream sheet because it's a dream that you might get it or you might not. What is a dream sheet? A dream sheet is when you say, I would love to serve my country in this area.
Hawaii, on the beach.
Somewhere warm in Florida, things of that nature. And so here I have a dream sheet that has all the nice warm places. However, I end up my first duty assignment in Malmstrom Air Force Base in Montana. And once I diverged from the bus, the parka that they issue you for cold weather gear. Yes, I pulled out my parka because it was freezing. I just come from San Antonio. Okay. Just come from Biloxi, where it's nice and warm all the time. And so first things first, you have a dream sheet that you might not ever see those areas, right? Some spouses think because they're not in that somehow or another, you made the decision to go where you went, even though you had no say so in the matter.
You're signing on the dotted line preempted.
anything that you thought or loved or wanted in your life, right? And so there are people that end up getting divorced simply because the orders got changed. I thought we were going to the Netherlands, but instead we're going to the Arctic Circle. What?
The needs of my country preempted
okay.
my life. Whatever aspirations that I may have had.
That you may have had. Amber Dawn says writing letters to Nettie and knowing they may not ever make it there. And that is so very true. Y'all, I'm telling you. So if you all in here and you have not shared this yet, and you know someone, they're in the military right now, or they're considering marrying someone that is serving, then you need to really invite them and share this so that we can talk to all of us collectively. So the first thing that we want you all to know is that if you're going to be in the military, that you're going to have to know that there are going to be some big decisions that you need to make together. Okay? That's how geographical bachelors are made. Yeah. Come on, Narissa.
Wow.
What's a geographical bachelor? It's a person that's married, but because they are not with their spouse physically, then they end up pretty much living as though they are single. And I had some of these people in my unit that worked with me, and I wanted to choke every one of them. They were all males, of course. And that's another thing. It's usually the males, okay, that are out here doing too much. It is what it is.
Because it's convenient.
Yes. And we know that men, for the most part, statistically, when they cheat, it's not so much always because they have fallen off in love with someone. Usually it's because of convenience. I thought I could do it, get away with it. Nobody would ever know. And somehow someone found out.
I was lonely. She was lonely. We happened to be lonely in the same tent.
And we was drinking.
All of those excuses.
Okay.
So there was a time in our country when one of the things that men would often say to their daughters, you never marry anybody in the army.
Right.
Never marry anybody in uniform.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
That was a common thing.
Yeah. I because you know that it's going to be even more involved. You're going to have more consideration. There's going to be more compromises made. And you know that sometimes we can't do that when the person's with us all the time. Yeah. So imagine if they get deployed. And what is deployed? Deployed means just as it says, you have to go somewhere from where you are. You may be stationed somewhere and they send you away for 6 months or a year by yourself.
And you have to go to clothing issues to get brand new clothing. I mean, cold weather,
hot weather.
So you may go from, you're right, from the balmy 115 to somewhere
Arizona to
Sub-Zero.
Alaska or something. And so when we are talking about this, the first thing that we have to know is that we have to do our very best, our darndest to make decisions together.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because if you start becoming rogue in your decision making, then somebody is going to find that there is some disappointments to be had. Someone is going to get angry. Someone is going to feel as though they're being left out.
Their opinion or their ideas
doesn't matter. And when you begin to feel that way, especially when you have a spouse that is going to be gone for 3 months, 6 months, a year, or whatever, that ends up becoming a big problem. So when you're talking about things like big purchases, so don't go out and buy a car or a boat or whatever a big purchase in your family is, okay? Because that's different for different people. For some people, going out to eat for the weekend and spending $50 is a big purchase, okay? So you have to sit down and learn how to compromise with each other. Don't buy big purchases without each other sitting down and making the decision on it. Don't work on your dream sheet by yourself.
Yeah.
Okay? Because this let me tell you what happens. A person signs on and they think that we're on the same page. And then we find out that we are diametrically opposed. Okay? So big decisions, and this is everybody should do this, but especially when you're talking about, like, let's say you want to sign a lease. Okay, do you just go ahead and sign it, or do you sit down first with your spouse? Because what if that person comes home and says, I'm going to be deployed for 3 months, or 6 or a year? Some couples will decide that the whoever is at home with the children, that they may move back home to parents, grandparents, so that the other person has some support. Okay, wow. But you've just signed a whole another year's lease without conversing with the person that you're with, or you didn't sign the lease. And they're like, I'm not going back home. Are you crazy? You think I'm going to disrupt their school? I have a job here. I'm stable here. And you think I'm just going to pick up and go back home? I'm not fit to do that. And that's how
the fight
started.
Divorce proceedings,
yes.
or at least that the relationship begins to unravel.
Yes.
And one of the things that you might have to your benefit is that in some places that are military friendly, you may get a landowner or a landlord or a contract that is military friendly,
right?
Meaning that they will make an exception to your lease if you are deployed or you receive military orders for the good of the country.
Amen.
Right?
Amen. Let's see. Amber Dawn says, like that episode of the Cosby Show. Okay. And Kim says, our daughter did that. She moved back with mom because she was pregnant. See, Amber says Denise didn't turn in those housing application paper.
She remembers all
the Navy hubby. I know she's gonna tell us the rest. And Marissa is over here. She's laughing her head off, and she said, "That's right. I'm not leaving. I ain't going nowhere. You forget that." Let's see. She, hubby and Navy hubby, Denise and her Navy hubby had to move back in with her parents until the housing opened back up again. Listen, y'all. These are issues that can really affect a marriage.
Absolutely. And a lot of times, us guys, particularly if you're the one that is in uniform, you have to understand that your spouse is also serving, right? Make sure that you give status and support your spouse to recognize they're your partner. They're in this with you. They're going where you go. And even if you can't go, who's going to handle things?
That's right.
So and that point is well taken. You cannot make decisions without thinking of them.
Absolutely.
Bringing them in on it for the most part. There may be some cases where things are out of your hands, where you have no choice but to do it. You signed up, and so you got to go.
Yep.
But for the most part, you can bring your spouse in on decisions that have to make. You have to make them together. Sit down, talk it out. Most things can be worked through. But if you go in and talk about, we're going to do this and we're going to do this, and you've already planned it out, and they just heard 5 minutes ago that you're going to be deployed. They're dealing with that, and you've already worked it all out in your little mind. And you dial it back. You have to involve your spouse.
Yes. Period. Okay.
Male, female.
I missed your comment. Yes, I did, Juice. I'll go back and look. Y'all, let me see those number twos there in the chat. Number two. We're talking tonight about if you're married in the military. Let's see. Juice asked us back when you guys first signed up, were you scared to go to war? Not me. Hey, True Movement, God bless you. Thanks for joining us tonight. Let me see the number twos there in the chat, y'all. We're talking about married to the military. Some of you that are veterans, some of you that are active duty, even right now, you know that some of these things are definitely in the wheelhouse when it comes to dealing with being married to someone in the military, right? So here is number two, and thank you guys that put that there. Number two, you have to learn that honesty will go a long way. Listen, honesty will go a long way. That H word.
Good Lord. A lot of people now, I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you mean you're not normally honest with me?
Right.
So for some people, that's oh my.
Oh yeah.
My world is about to change dramatically.
That's right.
When you say I'm going to be honest with you, or I want you
to
be honest with you.
But I think that if we give a person the leeway and we say, listen, no matter what you tell me, this is a judgment-free zone. And I know that there are still those people that will say to you, you know what, I'm going to be honest with you and say, I'm not going to be mad, but you know you're going to end up being mad. Right. And so don't say it if you don't mean it, but open up your heart so that you can feel what that person is feeling, what they're dealing with. Because listen, people grow and they change. And if you're not growing and changing, then something is already wrong. Narissa says a long way out and take you back safely. Yes. Amen. It will take you a long way out and take you back safely. Now, I remember when an issue comes up, when a situation comes up, be honest, put it out on the table. I have found, Carl, that when you are honest about everything and anything, that it takes away its power. When you can open your mouth and say, this is what's going on, or this is what I'm thinking, it causes whatever may have been holding you to lose your power. Now, I didn't understand this when I first got into the military because of the fact that I had been saved. I hadn't been saved awfully long before. Actually, I got saved after I got in the military. I've been to church my whole life, but I gave my life to the Lord and knew that I was a disciple after. And what I found out is that there are some things spiritually that if I would speak it out, and I think this is why the Lord spoke it in the word, and he said something to the effect of confess your faults one to another. Now, you're not confessing it to just anybody, okay? Yes, we're supposed to be on Facebook. We're supposed to be, Josh, supposed to be. Confess your faults one to another, and there you will find a place of safety. You'll find a place where the lid has been taken off, the Pandora's box is not anymore. You don't feel like you're compelled. You don't hear the siren in the ocean. You know, the what is that thing? Those mermaids, you know, they call them sirens in the ocean calling out to you. Well, I'm just gonna tell the truth and shame the devil. There was a time I was in Panama. Did you guys get married while serving or after Jews? After I was in Panama, okay, and let me tell you about Panama. First of all, it's nice, it's warm, it's tropical, just the way I like it, just like the island in which I was born, right? Now, in Panama, there are all kinds of people. They're old, they're young, they're middle-aged, they're short, they're tall, they're fat, they're bald. But every single Panamanian that I ever saw in my whole life, every one of them, gorgeous. I don't know what it is, what they got going on over there. Old Manuel, I don't know what happened to him. I think he was the only Panamanian that I knew that wasn't beautiful. Ain't that something?
Old Manuel.
Manuel Noriega.
Oh, Manny. Yeah, Manny.
Yes.
Yeah, he wasn't.
They called him Pineapple Face. I'm just telling you what they said. All right. Sounds like a great place. It was beautiful. It was wonderful. There were beaches. You had people walking up to you selling you mangoes from your car window. It was lovely. It was just like I was back home. And like I said, every single person, male, female, boy, girl, grown up, elderly people, they were all gorgeous.
Yeah. John said the humidity in Panama is next to the John said you've been to Panama.
I don't believe that. I can't believe that. For real? All right. Well,
yeah, you have to go to the other side of the island where the air conditioning
where the air conditioning is. And so here's the thing. I'm in Panama and listen, we've told you guys before, one of those things that we have to dispel, one of those old wives' tales, I guess you would call it, is that when you get married, somehow someone gouges out your eyes when you say I do. You still see people. People still look good. You can still listen, you can be married and still be attracted to other individuals. Okay. My niece ex is from Panama. Listen, you can still be attracted to someone else while you are married. And it's the truth. So don't ever get it twisted. Don't think, well, that ring on it is the magic bullet that is going to stop everything, because it won't. If you are a lustful person, marriage is not going to help you. It's going to probably magnify the issue. Okay. So there are all of these beautiful people in Panama. And the men, they're beautiful skin, and they got that, that wavy, it's like every single one of them, no matter where you went. And they were everywhere. Ocean. Right. And so one thing that I did have to do, and this wasn't with Gregory Dale, but if it was, I probably would. I'm pretty honest. I'm very transparent for the most part. If I feel it, I'm gonna say it. Okay. I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feeling. Some people tell me that I'm brutally honest, but I'm just like, I didn't think it was that bad. Y'all right. The men look at other girl, you're getting slapped. Well, see, we're not saying, Jews, that just because someone else looks good or you notice someone that you have to go all goo goo gaga over them. Okay, that's not good either. But we just want to deal in realities. Waves made by Sleepy Jerry Curl.
And Josh said that my brother was stationed there, Air Force.
He was in Petit. What? Okay. Get out of town. Okay, so there's these several of them, and I just found myself like gazing, and I thought, what is wrong with me? I am a super. Listen, when I was in Panama and when I got to Japan, I was super spiritual. They would tell me stuff later on, and I'll be like, really? You thought that? You were so stuck up. You were holier than everybody else. And I'm like, I was just being saved.
They were on the wild side, and they want to think that, like everybody like it. Oh, wasn't saved, wasn't safe. I'm just saying. So saved or safe. And but I tell you what.
Because of what you say, my eye will still see beauty. Yes, how could you not? Yeah. I mean, it's just normal.
Yeah.
We don't have to act on everything we see. Remember what the Bible says.
And that's the key, is that you can see and don't see. You see, you don't have to compliment everything that you see or
lust after it.
Yeah, close your mouth.
Okay. All right.
Quit staring at folks. Yeah, you don't be staring. Some people got that lustful, their mouth hanging open, they following the woman all the way into a man or whoever it is.
Wrong with you. So I had to sit down, start to pick up. I have to sit down with my former husband and say, listen, I'm having an issue right now. I don't know what's going on, but I'm seeing people, and let me tell y'all something else about Panamanian. They like Latinos. They're just sultry and sexy, every single one of them. And
they have their own salsa music. You can hear it kind of when that's why those waves are there. They can hear the salsa. So they just move. Everybody's moving. Nobody. Yeah.
You know stupid. I cannot with you, sir.
They got their own salsa music playing in their head.
Oh my God.
Shirley said there's no self-control. They need Jesus. Yes, that's right, Carl.
It's true.
That's right.
Okay. And so I had to say it. Like, listen, I'm having an issue right now. I don't, in my heart, it's not my heart to say that I want to go out. I want to be with anybody else but the person that I'm married to. But I don't know what it is. And I need some help because it's not in my heart to do it. And listen, as soon as I spoke that out of my mouth to my husband, it broke.
Mm-hmm.
It was incredible. Thank you, Narissa.
The power of honesty.
Yes.
Love you, Narissa. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. I thought, and I've been dealing with it, trying to work it out myself, and nothing that I was doing was working until I opened my mouth and spoke that thing. And then next thing I know, it just broke. And I'm thinking to myself, well, why in the heck didn't I know to do that before? But I didn't know. Okay. You don't know till you know. Everything that looks good is not good. You better tell the people, Brother Carr. Absolutely. Okay. When we're talking, we need to learn how to use some I statements instead of you or I feel. You can't judge a book by the cover, not at all. When we talk, if you ever sat down and wrote a letter while you were angry, you will note that you keep saying you, and you, and you can just almost see.
It's like a node. You're punching a hole.
Yes. Okay.
With the word.
Yeah. You made me do this. You made me mad. You ticked me off. You are getting on my nerve. You. And so what we have to learn is how to communicate with each other. We need to learn to say, I felt like this. I was angry when I saw and observed whatever it was that I saw and observed. Okay. Because I believe it's going to go a lot further than when you say you. Because what happens is the person then becomes what's the word? Defensive.
Yes.
Something about that salsa music get their body going.
He knows exactly what the Jews know exactly what I'm talking about. He's moving. He's in there moving. You just start hearing it in your soul, right? You'll have some waves in the morning.
So I cannot with you. All right. So y'all, let me see those number threes in the chat so we get out of here tonight. Number three. We're talking tonight. If you're married to the military, we are thanking the Lord for all of you that are veterans that have served the country, that put your hand up and said, I will. And you did it. We thank you so very much.
And to have joyfully shared your family, whether it's your father, your mother, or brother or sister, with the military on behalf of our country.
A pattern of selfish behavior, and you're not taking in part the position you played, that part. Yes, ma'am. Y'all, thank you for those threes. Here's the third thing. We have to learn that if you are in the military and you're married to someone that's military, you've got to plan for deployments. All right.
That's good.
What does that mean, planning for it? That there may come those times when a person has to go away for 6 months, a year, 18 months. How are we going to handle this? What are we going to do? Do we have enough finances set aside so that while you are gone, that these things can be taken care of? Yes, they may get extra pay, but what does the extra pay go to? Is that person going to be there and just take it all and use it all for whatever? Or is there already a plan in place? How are we going to connect with one another? And we don't have any excuses now. Back when I was in the military, you had to write letters. I could kick myself till today for not going in the Navy after college. I get it. The Navy, one of those services that you rank up really quickly as well. What was I saying? We have to make sure that we are
that we have enough money.
Okay.
And that we've made a plan.
Yes.
So that
you have to make a plan, because you want to be, again, on the same page and in the same book. How do we communicate with one another? Back when I was in, we had to write letters, and letters take a while. When I was in basic training, you couldn't wait for the mail to come in, because someone from home is saying something, anything. You didn't care who it was. The dog could have written bark, bark on a piece of paper and mailed it to you, and you were happy about that. So now that we have all of this technology, you've got Snapchat, FaceTime, and you can have your phones now. But listen, some places that you go, you still don't have the freedom to converse with your spouse the same way. There are some places that are so secret, so top secret, that you have to wait until a certain day of the week that you can go. He said exactly a certain day of the week where you actually have to go to sitcom, where you're able to sit down and communicate with people, and they give you a certain time period. And there were times when people would be able to tell you, I could call you on Thursday at such and such a time. And you got to remember, sometimes you're being deployed someplace that's a totally different time zone. I had a close friend I used to write letters to. Amen. Yes. And so these are things that you need to sit down prior to deployments and say, listen, if you ever feel that little funky feeling, you feeling froggy, I'm gonna need you to make sure that you got a a a a sanctified secret place wherein we can sit down and we can talk to each other and whatever else that needs to happen during that time period.
Going over the edge.
Okay.
That's right.
Amen. In school, when we had no mail, we called it air mail. All right. You have to plan for vacation time because usually, if you have a long deployment, they give you 30 days. And you can take either 215 or 130 day complete. And you get to go back home during the mid part of your deployment so that you can spend time with your family.
That's one of the friendly things that you get as a result of the military, because there is a concern for the family. Even though for the most part, when it comes to the mission, they're going to think first of the mission.
It's true.
But in the end, they do have an interest or a concern in your family remaining together.
It's true. Okay. Thank you, Kimmy, for reminding the people that they can go over and get our book, 7 Keys to Better Sex in Your Marriage. And you may also want to go and get that free download of Sex Connect, which is going to help you to, get through that little sexual tension you got going on with your spouse. All right. Find it over at bit.ly/MM3 LINKS. I almost forgot it just that quick. Sister Shirley says that my nephew couldn't even tell us where he was going. My niece was going crazy. Yes. And listen, whenever it is around a time of war, maybe something is going on, you know that there's some unrest somewhere, and you don't know where your spouse is off to, it can make you crazy. You can become crazy with worry. And this is why you have to plan things out, because you can't just sit at home worrying. And if you have children, you definitely don't have time to sit back and put all that stress and tension on them. True. Okay, because they can feel it. You have to have some support people in place. You have to have family members. You have to have church. Some the mops with the mothers of preschoolers, whatever it is, you need to have someone in your corner so that you can go and say, I'm really afraid of this, whether it's your pastor, another minister, someone in your corner that's going to be able to help you, to show you that, there's some ways for us to get past this. Okay. All right. Number, what was that? 3, 4? Number 4, and we're going to get on out of here. You have to learn how to minimize stresses when you're talking about moving. Oh, y'all, moving has been something else. Some people move once every 5, 6 years. Some people move every 2. And you never really know when you're going to move. Some people, they have been in a place for 10, 12 years. And then while their oldest children are getting to be seniors and juniors in high school, now it's time to move. And some parents are not willing, and some kids are having a hard time thinking about transitioning to a new place, a new location, when this is where all my friends are here. If I leave now, I won't get to go to prom. I won't get to go to the senior dinner, the parties. I won't get to do it. I won't graduate with my class. And so you've got it where sometimes you've got a parent that will stay where they are so that that child can graduate before they come back together with their spouse. Y'all, it takes planning. It takes sitting down, knowing each other's heart, and going past all of this other stuff so that you can see what is really important. That is truly a sacrifice and hard on kids. Yes, some children refuse to marry anybody in the military or be even involved with anything military because they felt like their parent wasn't there. If you have a Navy, one of the ladies that I worked with in the comptroller's office in Montana, her husband was Navy, and he was gone most of the time because they stayed on the boat. What, honey?
Wow. So you were in North Dakota and
No,
Montana.
Mm-hmm.
She worked in the comptroller's office with you. Her husband was Navy.
Mm-hmm. And we were at Air Force Base. Yeah.
Wow. And there are no Navy bases in Montana.
No.
Wow.
Right?
That's really a stretch.
And she pretty much raised the children, on her own. Not because he didn't want to, but he was in a Navy person on a ship.
And if you are in a Navy career, in a career path, you have to serve a certain amount of your time at sea.
At sea, period.
And there are duties that are at sea, even though they're not classified at sea.
Right.
They're still
at sea.
At sea.
My nephew is Navy and on a sub at sea. Oh my goodness. So you see, you can't just come up from the bottom of the ocean and make a phone call.
I'm going on leave.
All right.
Or go AWOL.
Oh, go AWOL. You.
I saw Aquaman and some mermaids go by. I'm gonna go join that. Oh, it's not gonna happen.
Right? Ain't no ocean near Montana. It's a Navy. There was no Navy base. No. All right. And so here's the thing. She worked in the comptroller's office. She had a GS whatever position, a high GS level position, and that's where she worked. He was not going to be around always.
Yeah. Silver service workers often make some of the same sacrifices as military.
So and when he retired and moved home, it drove her batty.
Oh my goodness.
She was like, oh my God.
What? No time together.
All the time together. And when you're at home and you have the control of everything, and then a person that has not been there the whole time then comes home. And now they're doing things at home. They're washing clothes and doing dishes and making food and messes, and things are changed, and you have no control because the two of you are married to each other. I love him, but he's getting on my last nerve, right? And so these are all those adjustments. And when a person says thank you for your service, you're not only thanking the veteran or the military member, you're also thanking their family. I believe that with my whole heart. My son, our son, just one. Yes, our son, he is in the National Guard. And I'm thinking, okay, 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks a year. He has been pretty much active the entire time.
Yeah, for the last 2 or 3 months straight.
Yes.
Most of this.
Well, actually, most of his military career at this point, he has been doing something more than 1 weekend a month and 2 weeks a year, period. He was gone to basic training. I think that was 8 weeks. And then he went to his tech school, and that was forever. And now we're here, and I see him come in with his uniform, and I'm like, oh, okay. So he was on quarantine, right? Because someone else in the unit ended up testing positive. All right. So here's my question. This pandemic is a great example of that. Here's my question. Now, you are quarantined, but you live here. Right? You're quarantined and you have a spouse that you have to go home and stay in the home with, right? So you have children and the whole 9 yards, whatever the case might be. And so you're not serving by yourself, because even though your spouse wasn't there, wasn't in contact, well, now they're they've got the same sentence, really, almost, that you have. Sentence. I said that like it was jail.
You did. But that's, that's it's really closer than we realize. And you have to understand that although you signed up, you have to wear the uniform every day.
Yeah.
Your spouse, the people you live with, the people you're responsible for and accountable to, are in this every bit as much as you.
Yeah.
Your successes, you have to be a communicator. It's vitally important that if you are a good communicator in normal times, during times like this, you have to even better at it. During times of a pandemic, if you're a good communicator, you need to be even better at it now.
Sister Shirley said, "You better go quarantine at your mama's." That's where he is.
And she says what she's saying. That's what they told him. Look,
right.
And no dormitory. They don't have. It's like a regular base where they have dormitories.
Right.
Barracks.
So all of that. And these are just some of the considerations that we want you all to think about when you're dealing with someone in the military, when you're dealing with someone that's a veteran. These are the areas, and this is not all. Okay.
Yeah.
You have people that are pregnant 7 months, and you don't know if you're going to make it home in time for your husband to be with you while you're in labor, or you don't know when your husband is going to make it, if they're going to make it to the delivery room. Y'all, it can be hard. Rona has exposed a lot of relationships, abuses, breakdowns on New Year's. I watched the service and they said this is the year of exposure, and it has been. Amen to that, darling. So, what we want you to know, let's see, is it this one? No, it's not that one. Is it this one? It's not that one. It's not this one. We have for you guys, if you have not yet gone over, see right here, honey. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
I thought I had it already out.
Oh yeah. You like.
You like that, honey?
I like it.
So
you can do it.
I can do it. The average person doesn't think about those things. They really don't. And so one of the things that we have to learn is that communication is definitely the key when we're dealing with and talking about being married to military, or being married really to anybody. Okay. But what we have on sale for you all this week is we want you to know that you can go over to bit.ly/MM3 links. Let me show you guys it. And what we have available for you all is called Relax, Relate, Communicate. And this is a tool that is going to help you to help yourself when you're talking about communicating with your spouse. How do I talk to them? What do I say? What is a good time? Is this a high level, a middle level, or a low level conversation? Is this something that I want to talk about right now, or is this something that I can hold on to? Is this something that I want to fight? Is this a battle that I want to fight, or is this something that I just need to let go? Right? Look at your pastor, GD, making them deposit. Look at you. Later on, wrote so many books. This isn't a book so much so, God. This is a communications guide, is what this is. Relax, relate, communicate. There's a video that goes along with this. You're going to ask yourself several of the questions that we have in here. Like, for example, do you feel respected for your opinions? Things of that nature, so that you will be able to sit down with your spouse, with your loved one, and find out what it is that needs to be done. We've talked to you all also about the communication wheel, and these are all things that we use when we're counseling with our couples. The communication wheel is a phenomenal tool, and I still use mine. Mine is on the refrigerator on a little sticky. I made it that long ago. It's on the top of, you all know the frozen juices, the tins from the frozen juice. I made a copy. I stuck one on that tin, and it's been on my refrigerator. And every now and again, I'm like, okay, I need to dial this back. And yeah. And so that's a part of this. We teach you about the sandwich technique in here. We teach you about mirroring. What else do we teach? We teach you about the challenges of communication. We give you a little guide. Choose the topic. What do we need to talk about? Helping you all, as far as especially husbands and wives. If you, as a wife, you like to bring up a lot of things all at once, I need you to understand that he can't hear it all. It's not that he's ignoring you. It's not that he doesn't want to hear you out. But there are those things that he's just not going to be able. He has a capacity of this, and you have a capacity of that, and you can't squeeze all of this into that in one setting. So we give you information on that, how to work that out, how to deal with it, what types of things you need to be saying. And I believe this one also comes with the communication guide. So if you want to say, I'm sorry, if you want to say, can we table this until later? Give you some actual phrases that you can sit down with the person, say to them so that they can hear you out. Okay. It's available to you at marriagemakesthenumber3.com. Thank you, Sister Shirley. bit.ly/mm3links. You can download it tonight. Go through the complete, it's called the complete guide to couples connecting. Relax, relate, communicate. And I promise you, it's going to help you. It is going to make things a little bit simpler, a little easier for you so that when it's time to have that conversation, you know the one. You might be with someone that's in the military, and you may have to say some hard things. You may have to be honest about certain areas and certain aspects of your relationship. And so we want you to know that these things are available as a resource to you. It's $17.99. You can't beat it with a stick. Yeah. All right. And these are things that we use with our couples on regular couples counseling, because we found that there are some tools that work, and we want you to have those tools. Juice says, when the wife says you don't spend enough time with me, then you do. She wants to strangle you.
That's yes. A good descriptor for that.
Yes, situation. For that situation. But, there are adjustments. Even when a person has been gone for 3 months or 6 months, you as a military spouse, especially if you're a civilian, you are spending your time figuring out systems and how to do things, because now it's just you. Yeah. I've got 3 kids. I've got to be to work. How am I going to be to work on time, get these kids to school? And so you work out a whole system. You've got a whole team of people probably helping you, one to pick up, one to drop off. You may have someone that goes and gets them after school, drives them home. You may have meals already prepared for the week, right? You've done the grocery shopping. You made stuff that children like that they could care less. You can give a child macaroni and cheese every single day and a hot dog, and they will probably eat it, right? But listen, when that spouse comes back home, they looking at you like, we having hot dogs and macaroni and cheese again, right? And so there's a whole nother adjustment. And so we have to get back to where we work ourselves back towards each other. I'm sorry that you're wrong, honey. I accept your unspoken pre-apology. You're so silly. MM3 worked and works for me. Thank you so much, Kimmy. I appreciate that.
We love you all.
Great way to open communication channels. Yes. Absolutely. All right. So, y'all, we thank you so very much for being a part of us at marriagemakesthenumber3.com. Again, I'm Pastor Michelle. This is my sweet husband, Pastor G.
Thank you, love.
So cute. Yes. We're spiritual relationship counselors. We are veterans of the United States Air Force and your go-to couple for all things relationship. I want you to know that you can go over to bit.ly/mm3links, find all the wonderful things that we have available for those of you that are dating, you're married, you're divorced. There's something over there that's going to help you. We thank you all so very much for being a part. Thank you for those that shared and for those that help us to moderate the broadcast. We hope to see you again tomorrow night right here. We're here Tuesday through Thursday between 9:30 and 10-ish. How about that? And so we hope to see you here, Central Standard Time. Again, 15-minute encounter session. Sign up for it on the site, and we'll be so happy to take your call. All right?
Is getting a preemptive strike in. He says, I'm sorry that you are wrong, honey. I accept your unspoken pre-apology. Preempting.
All right.
All right. We appreciate you all. Love you so much. See you tomorrow. We always remind you at the close of our cast that God loves you and we love you. And ain't a thing you can do about it. Up in here. We love you so very much.
See you guys tomorrow.